Welcome. I'm driving a road that I've been wanting to drive for very, very many years. Highway 1, our highway that goes all the way down the southern part of Australia. And I will be crossing later today the Nullarbor Plain. Welcome to this video and podcast about something just happened on the road up there, and nothing serious, but something just happened and it made me think. A lot of people that drive this kind of road, long distance roads, they just don't know how to do it. So that's what this video is about. I've learnt a lot over the years. Hope you enjoy it. I had somebody on my tail driving behind me half an hour ago, and they were really quite close behind me. I'm doing about between 105 and 110 kilometers an hour, and they sat behind my vehicle for what must have been 20-25 minutes because, well, I don't know why, but I've noticed this. Some people who are not experienced driving off-road, they will latch onto a vehicle in front of them and become mesmerized by that vehicle, and they will sit behind them, forgetting the world around them. It's almost as if they become like zombies to this thing in front of them, and they will not, even though they've caught up and they want to overtake, they won't overtake even though the road is clear. So this one today, I decided, okay, let me help out by slowing down a bit. So I turned off the auto cruise and slowed down. They were zombies. They slowed down to 90 kilometers an hour without even thinking about getting past me, and there was so much space. I've even had a situation, and more than once, where I've done that and slowed down and slowed down and slowed down, and eventually they wake up and overtake me, and there's oncoming traffic. It's a strange thing, and I'm pretty sure it's got to do with that they don't have experience on long distance driving. If you look at the statistics in Australia, for example, on accidents, there are a lot of fatal crashes. A lot, by comparison to many nations, not very many at all, but percentage wise, many accidents, head-on collisions, 20 minutes outside of town. So often young people, not experienced with a road like this, will suddenly decide, oh, I'm going to drive for 3 hours, and have never done it before, and they don't know how to do it. All of these new risks. Let's look at the risks. You're driving at high speed, so you're going to be doing, the speed limit in Australia is 110 kilometers an hour. You're going to be doing close to that speed, right? If you hit anything at that speed, anything solid, it will kill you. You will not survive it. So don't hit anything. Alright? That's obvious. We'll get to that later. If you hit another vehicle, you will not survive it. The passengers in the other car and the driver in the other car will not survive it. Even a head-on collision at half that speed, you will not survive it. Okay. So, fatigue. Fatigue is a huge, don't let yourself get tired. And what I do is that I get tired. I'm like anybody else, and I'm very used to this kind of driving. I've done an enormous amount of it. I have a program where if I drive, and at the moment it's now 9:15 in the morning, by 11 I will start feeling tired. I will pull over and I will do something about it. Often tiredness is because we need something in our stomachs, we need food, we need fuel. Okay, that fuel, if you had to have a lot of sugar, things like that, it'll get you going for a while, and then you'll come off the cliff and then be tired by 2 in the afternoon. So be aware of what you eat. What is really good for traveling this kind of travel is nuts, biltong or beef jerky, something like that, protein that you just take in small amounts. If you're going to have a cool drink, a high sugar cool drink, that's fine, sip it. Alright, so you want to stop this massive peak of energy and this sudden drop. You want to maintain the energy. So fatigue. There are trees everywhere. If I fall asleep, I probably won't survive it. Now you actually have to understand the importance of that. Is, oh, you know, I'll fall asleep. There are rumble strips on the road, so if I you know, doze off and no, they might help. I'm sure they do. If you hit a tree at this speed. Cruise controls. Cruise controls are fantastic. But if you're feeling woozy, do not drive on cruise control. It's a very, very bad idea. But as I said, if you start to feel woozy, act. Do something about it. And it's not a matter of just having a rest. I can have a 3 or 4 minute rest and it makes a big difference to me. But it only makes a difference for a short time. It's the fuel in the body that's important. Okay. So don't get tired. If you get tired, act. Other vehicles. You've got the same problem with them. What happens if they are tired? Now, when driving on a long distance road like this, you look long distance, you look far. You don't look, you must look far distance. Okay, so for those of you who have not done it before, do not look short distance, do not look middle distance, look far distance. And scan the sides of the road. Constantly scanning the side of the road, and eventually you'll actually get used to it, and you'll notice things that are moving, wildlife, cattle, things like that. The kangaroos here, you know, I see a lot more dead kangaroos than I do live kangaroos. You'll see them moving. Okay. If you see them ahead, immediately slow down. But you immediately slow down. As you immediately slow down, you see if there's any traffic behind you. If you have somebody who is close behind you, they haven't seen that kangaroo or that cattle. I can guarantee you they haven't seen it. So what you do is you put your hazard flashes on. They'll immediately see your hazard flashes, and their reaction will hopefully be, oh, what? They'll immediately get onto the high alert. What's going on? Okay? And they may then see it. They'll certainly see you slow down, and if your hazard flashes are on, you're basically telling them there's a hazard ahead. Even if they see it at the last minute, at least they won't smash into you. And if you have to brake for that animal, they won't smash into the back of you. Let's talk about animals. This is a difficult one because if I hit a large cow and I'm in a smallish car and I'm doing 100 kilometers an hour, I won't survive it. Okay. So swerve. Kangaroo, well, you can get some pretty big ones, but most of them are not that big. Small animals, small antelope and things like that. Don't swerve. Firm braking. Keep it straight. Keep it straight. Keep it straight. Keep it straight. Keep it under control. So you'll be pushing on the brakes and you'll be holding it steady. Keep it straight, even if, and you can move at the last minute, steer, but never swerve. I say never swerve. If it's an enormous bleak black bull and you see it at the last minute and it's right and you're going to go into it, yeah, swerve. But for smaller animals, birds, things like that, no, do not swerve, because it's a very high incidence of rollovers and things like that on roads like this, accidents on roads like this, caused by swerving for animals. And sometimes it's a crow. What's more important? I know animal lovers, oh, don't kill the animal. Okay, fair enough. I understand that. What is more important to your family? Your life or the life of the crow? Answer me that. It's all a matter of priorities. I don't want to kill a crow. Risk my life for the life of a crow or a kangaroo or a antelope or a small kangaroo or even a big kangaroo. Even a horse. What's more important? I'm sorry, but people are more important than animals. So you owe it to your family. I know, sorry if this sounds like a rant, but they are all animal lovers. I love animals too, okay? But realistically, your family is more important than that stray donkey, crow, whatever. So swerving at this speed, at 110, you might survive it, you might not. Okay, so the risks are high. This kind of driving, the risks are quite high. Okay. Reducing risks. Let's talk about getting those risks right down. Spoken about long distance, view in the distance, scan. Turn on your headlamps. The headlights are on always. You never turn them off. On an open road like this, your headlights are on, doesn't matter, right, especially in very, very bright sunlight. Okay, especially. And I say that because of the mirage you get on the road, and if your vehicle is a dark color, like a dark blue, dark gray, black, particularly dark grays actually, and dark blues, and dark greens, they become invisible against the blacktop in the distance on a very sunny day. You need, because there's the big danger, overtaking on a road like this are a very, very high percentage of accidents caused when overtaking, because the other vehicle is just simply not seen. The other thing about driving, where do I drive on the road? So this is a fairly narrow road, and the normal thing would be to drive in the middle, as I am doing now. I'm really driving in the middle of my lane. When I see traffic coming in the opposite direction, what I do is I actually let the car drift over to the left, like that. I do it on a blind rise as well. I was once in a situation where it was quite funny, because I remember at the time it was almost intuitive. I had 3 people, I was driving my Range Rover, it was pouring with rain, and we were going to a cheetah sanctuary to go and do a recce for a film shoot. And I remember my mind saying, what would you do now? And I sometimes do this, and I sometimes even do it today, and it's good practice. I said to myself, what would you do now if a car came over the hill, it was blind rise, on your side? What would you do? And I went through the process of what I would do in my mind. At that moment, dark blue BMW straight ahead of me, and I did what I had rehearsed in my mind, and as a result I'm going to pull over here. This is a runway. They have these in Botswana, these runways. They're emergency runways, big areas that are cleared. So there's the runway. I've seen these in Namibia and Botswana. The military use them as emergency landing strips. They just strengthen the road, and then they clear the bush at the side of it. This lovely, lovely road, and I'm so grateful for the clouds this morning. I don't know. I just felt like something other than full sunshine. Let's talk about overtaking. When you're behind somebody in a situation like this, where you have moments where it's safe to overtake and other moments where it's just it's not safe, you cannot see far enough ahead, depth of perception is very important. A lot of inexperienced drivers do this. There's the slow vehicle, they drive right behind it and they do this to see. Completely the wrong way of doing it. Okay, you come up and you stay a good distance behind the slow traffic. Slow enough, far enough away that you can actually see the road ahead just by sitting there. Okay, that's the measure. Can I see, by sitting and not having to move at all, can I see past that vehicle, well past that vehicle, to know if it's safe or not? And that's where you stay. You don't stay close. 2 reasons. Firstly, if that vehicle has to swerve, stop, anything unexpectedly, and you're there, it's an accident waiting to happen. If you're further back, you will be able to see well in advance if they're going to stop, why they might be stopping, and maybe avoid the same hazard that they're stopping for. And secondly, and this is the most important part, is you can then look and say, okay, it's good to overtake, speed up, speed up, speed up, speed up, speed up, speed up. You now can make the decision, yes, it's safe, no, it's not. You still haven't pulled it out, but you're going fast. If the decision is, no, I'm not happy, you just apply brakes and then pull back again and do the same over again. However, if you go faster, 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 you can still see, now my vision is being blocked as I'm getting close. Yes, I can go. You're already going faster than the slow traffic, and you go, wow, like this. The amount of time you spend on the wrong side of the road is reduced significantly by doing it that way. So what a lot of people will do is they'll do this, and then they'll go like this, and get past, as opposed to, yeah, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes. Okay, when pulling in, don't do this. I've seen it so often. Again, it's inexperience. When pulling in, give good, clear, and use your indicator. Some people don't use their indicator because, I know you're going to pull in. Well, it's actually good manners to use your indicator. Just letting them know you're pulling in now. So, it's this, speed up, past, and a nice space. Give everybody room to maneuver. Most important thing, the single most important danger about overtaking on a road like this is a road from the left. So if I'm overtaking on the right lane, it's a road from the right. If I'm taking over on the left lane on right-hand drive countries, it's roads from the left. I'm recording this video as I'm doing this long drive to Melbourne from Perth. It's almost 3,000 kilometers, and things occur to me. I'm driving now on a stretch of road. Speed limit is 110, and there's quite a bit of overtaking to do. There's quite a bit of traffic, so it's fairly demanding in terms of a long drive. It's not really very relaxing, so one has to keep one's wits about one. And what happens here is that you have to actually slow down when going through some of the towns. And this is the main road, but it actually goes right through the middle of some towns, and you have to slow down to 80, sometimes down to 60. When doing so, remember that everybody on this road, most people on this road, will be in a state of they're on the long haul. They're used to sitting at high speeds. They're quite relaxed, and it's not like somebody in town who's, when you're driving in town, you should be very aware of your surroundings and your brain is very active. When on a long run, the brain actually settles down, calms down. So when you get into a situation where you now have to slow down for a town or something, it's a good idea to flash your brake lights. I generally look behind me and I see if I've got anybody that is reasonably close behind me, and I will dab my brakes and I will dab them again. I will get my brake lights to flash twice. And what that does is unconsciously says to the driver behind you, pay attention, I'm slowing down. Not just a light coming on, but because it's flashing. You might have noticed that many trucks these days in some countries, actually, when they apply brakes, their brake lights flash twice and then stay on. That's to do exactly that. The traffic behind are woken up. I actually want to put a sticker on the back of my car because I'm very sensitive to people driving too close behind me. And I want to put a sticker on the back of my car that says, I'm very sorry for driving so close in front of you. But have it so the size where if they actually can read it, the chances are they're too close. And I'm going to do it. I am really going to do it because, you know, it's on having people really close behind me. As far as I'm concerned, you are endangering my life by being so close, and that's not acceptable. Okay, double lane here, time to overtake. And it's nice having a Land Cruiser with such a powerful engine. I'm just not used to it, and it's very, very nice indeed. So speed is 107, and I will set my cruise control to 107. There you go.